All right.
All right. See you guys downstairs.
Okay, so they don't give themselves enough credit. I wouldn't have ever partnered with a company that didn't have this kind of SEO that they can bring to all of you all already. So what they've done on their own is huge. They just needed to turn it into what Google wants as well. And so that's what we're here for. So again, my name's Crystal. I'm going to go through some statistics just to kind of bring why your digital presence is so important. I don't talk in front of a lot of groups, so I'm super nervous, FYI. So 89% of the population uses the internet, while 81% of those adults are also on Facebook in your market. So if you think about that, 89% of the population, you all, as individuals, we're in a society now that we want everything fast and we want it at our fingertips. And so if your business is not fast and at people's fingertips, you're not being found. 93% of the online experience begins with a search engine. So I'm actually a Google Sitekit developer and also a Google partner. Google wants to show your local businesses before national competitors. They deliver on location and relevancy first, and that is so important to Google because they want the local businesses to be found. They want you to show up. But 90% of those searches, again, while we talk about Google so much, is 90% of those searches actually begin and are made on Google search engine. So it wasn't just 6 years ago, Yahoo had 60% or had 40% of that market, and they don't have that anymore. So another connection is Apple now Safari. So when you use Safari on an Apple product, you're also getting Google as well, and when you're making those searches. So 91.5% of the clicks on the listings go to the first page. So think about your own search history. When you make a search, if you don't find what you're looking for, you just retype in those keywords again. You're not going page after page after page. Like, we just want things so fast that we don't have time for that in our busy lives now. Roughly a third of all mobile searches are related to location. So this leads to something that's pretty funny a lot of people don't think about, but near me is the #1 keyword searched on the internet. So when people go online and search, they're actually now searching the word near me. So like you want a contractor near you, or you want, so that's why it's so important that these keywords are built into your website and your SEO. 3.5 billion searches are made daily, and that volume grows at 10% per year. The internet isn't going anywhere, guys, unless Russia bombs us. But it's not going anywhere, and it's only continuing to grow. 84% of Americans are shopping for something in any given 48-hour period, and again, near me is the most searched term. So now we are going to jump right into websites, okay? So this person is not here, I promise you all. But what do you see when you look at this site? This is the mobile version, and this is the desktop version. All right? It's ugly, right? It's very confusing. No phone numbers. It doesn't tell you what to do. So when you think about Google and the millions of websites they have to crawl daily, okay, to pull information because they want to deliver these local businesses, they don't know what to deliver. Like, things are all over the place, okay? So that's why being a Google partner and a Google Sitekit developer, a lot of our websites are very similar. And the reason is because we put things where Google wants them to be, so that when Google crawls your site for the first time, they can deliver the proper information to the people searching. So you'll see phone numbers are easy, directions are easy, it tells you the location, it tells you exactly what they're doing, and over, call us, fill out a form, get a quote, and so all of that's immediately when you go to this website. A lot of people get wrapped up in, they want drones and they want all this cool stuff flying across their website and stuff. Google doesn't want any of that anymore. They want your website to load in 3 to 5 seconds. They don't want all the jazzy stuff. They just want you to give relevant content to the people who are searching. And so that's how we build websites. On the mobile version of this, you can see, have you ever went to a website and try to call them and have to go from the website back to your phone? What was that number? What was that? And you're like back and forth trying to call. Well, our websites are built so that they just push the call button, right? And doesn't that make sense? It's less confusing. So now I want to ask some more questions. Does anybody want to play a game with me? And I promise I won't pick out your website. Okay. What's your name again?
Lloyd.
Lloyd. Okay, I thought that. All right. So tell me about the last purchase you made in your life. Anything that was, no more than a normal purchase, something $200 or more. It's not a trick question, I promise.
My new hat.
Your new hat, okay.
$200.
And so where did you purchase that hat at?
Online.
Okay, and what made the idea occur to you that you needed a new hat?
Because my distributor that I normally get them from didn't have it.
Okay.
So I had to have it.
All right. And so what's the first thing that you did when you went, I need a new hat?
Typed in, I need a
Okay.
hat.
And where did you end up buying your hat at?
Honestly,
Whatever came up first?
whatever came up, there it was, and I went to buy it.
That's the importance of coming up first. So that's a good example. I'll give you an example of mine. I was in Savannah at the SL, what is it?
SLMP.
I can never get those abbreviations right. The girl that went with me, she had this shampoo. I am not a high products person. Like I buy Suave, whatever, and my hairdresser's like, your hair's getting dry, you need to upgrade. I'm like, well, I don't want to pay all that unless I try it first. So I was like, can I try your shampoo? And she said, yeah. So I used it and I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels amazing on my hair. And I immediately went to Google and started looking this up. And it was $84, and I'm like, holy shit, that's why I pay you and you can pay $84 shampoo? I'm like, Jesus. So what did I do? I started price shopping. So I came to some websites that had it for $64. And I thought about it, not as a marketer, but I thought of it from a consumer standpoint. $64 is a lot better for freaking shampoo than $84, right? So, but they said it lasts, a long time and you're not replacing it as often, all these things. But I didn't end up buying it for $64. And the reason I didn't buy it for $64 is because the websites were shady. And I was like, are they just repackaging this great shampoo and putting some Suave in there? Is it going to come to me? Is it coming from China? Like all these questions started, and I'm like, do I want to put my credit card on this website? Like all these things. So ultimately, I went to a company that I knew was reputable and that I could purchase again from and I could get rewards from, and that had a nice website, but I paid more money for it. So just think about that when you think about your own customers and their journey to your website when they're searching for your services. So I was not prepared to tell my shampoo story. That just kind of happened. So think about, how old is your website? So I will tell you that Google has made us a promise that if you build these websites this way, use the technology and the software and put things in the places we're telling you to, there's not going to be major updates to where your clients are going to need new websites again, okay? I've been doing this since 2000, and I can't tell you how many times and how many businesses I've seen have to buy websites over and over and over again because the technology changes. And so Google's very, very serious about this. They're fighting right now with the Supreme Court for local businesses, actually, and for them to be able to show up first. There's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about the goodness in Google's heart.
The last website that I ever bought.
Yeah, and when you all leave here, you're all going to get targeted with Google ads because I'm going to say Google so many times, and all your phones are listening. So, so just think about, is your website hard to navigate? I'm sorry, what?
And blow up dolls now, apparently.
Oh God, yeah.
Honey, I did not say that.
Yes. So just ask yourself these questions. Is your website engaging to your clients? Is your website mobile friendly? Does your website, say where you service? Like all of these things are so important, and we'll talk in a minute about why these things are so important too. We're going to dive right into SEO now. So SEO and SEM are different. It gets confusing to a lot of people. Think of the SEO as organic. You don't have to always pay to be there, okay? And this is something that, that is offered through Outdoor Network Services that you can't get on your own. I cannot express enough to you all. You can go to any agency out there and you won't find a better rate than what these guys are offering you all. You couldn't come to my company direct and get a better rate. I would charge you $999 alone to write content for one page for you, that they're giving you all years of content, years of things that they've created that we already know that Google, that they like. Like, it almost makes me emotional because it is like, it's so much and it's so powerful for your business on what they've designed and what they've put together, that you're just not going to find that anywhere else in this industry. Right here you can see we made a search for backyard pond contractor, Central Kentucky. So here you see H2O Designs comes up first. These are organic. These are SEO. They don't have ad beside them. If they had ad beside them, they'd be SEM, okay? This is also very important portion of your SEO is your Google My Business. So Google got away with Google Plus, then it was Google My Business, now it's Google Business Profile. Is that what it's called now? Okay. Yeah, so they just recently changed it again. This builds a ton of SEO for free on your website. So you can actually use this like social media now. You can post to it. Your posts stay active for 7 days. Your Google reviews are a portion of your SEO. So the way to outrank your competitors is to have more positive reviews than your competitors down the street have from you. You can add pictures. The more you do, the more you add to this and play with this Google My Business, this is really going to help with your local SEO. So what is SEO made up of, okay? So 40% of it over here is basically all off-site. Over here is basically on-site, and 20% is engagement. So off-site, local, what that means, so that's like your reviews, your Google My Business, so that's like 13% of your SEO, okay? Social media, so posting to social media. Have you ever searched a business and you pull up their social media pages before you even pull up their website? That's because they don't, their website doesn't rank even for their own business name, but their social media pages do. Yeah.
All right, excuse me, but what does SEO stand for?
Search engine optimization. Think of it as the O as organic traffic to your website.
Thank you.
Okay. And then links. So 20% of this offsite comes from links, and that's something that you all can get for as little as $100 a month from Outdoor Network Services. The infrastructure, 15% being mobile first, redirects, your page loading time. We talked about some of that stuff already. Your domain, how old your domain is. If you have a domain, don't ever get a new domain. Like, keep that domain. It doesn't matter. I don't care what it says. Nobody reads it. Nobody remembers your domain. They don't like memorize that. Like, they're going to search for your service or your name and pull your website up. 7 to 10% is technical, so that's your meta tags, your schema markups, your how things are structured in your website. And then 18 to 20% is content. So another statistic we didn't talk about earlier, to rank on the first page of Google, 1,890 keywords or words on a page is the average to rank on the first page of Google. So think about that. Do you have enough time to write 2,000 words for all your services? And only 2 to 3 of those are going to rank. So with the Outdoor Network Services, you'll see that their content that they can give to you all has a lot of that. If you ever read through it, just know in your mind that your clients are never going to read through it. It has a lot of repetitive, same things over and over. It talks about your location. Sometimes it sounds silly, but it's written in SEO content, and it's supposed to be that way. So here's the catch-22 with SEO. 20 to 23% engagement. So before you can even have SEO to your website, you have to have traffic to your website. So that's why it's so important when you post to social media, when you send out emails, anything that you're doing that you're putting links on and you're driving people to your site, because the more traffic you get to your site also increases your SEO, okay?
So, I'm sorry. So basically with Jeff, and I'm basically simple and stupid.
No, you're not.
But Jeff told me, it's like, Dave, do more of your Facebook, do more of your.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about, getting.
Yeah.
So it does feed, what I'm doing on social media is feeding this.
Yes, 100%.
It's a lot better hearing you say it than Jeff.
Yes, 100%. Remember, that's how BJ got into this and figured it out. So these are questions also to ask yourself. Whether you're going to hire, that sounded real country, didn't it? Hire. Whether you're going to hire Outdoor Network Services or anybody else, you all, this is so important, these questions to know and ask whatever developer that you're working with. Not only what the cost is, but is local SEO included? And if it's not, I will tell you that the way that I got into websites, so I started in paid ads. I worked for paid ads for a long time for a national newspaper and ran digital marketing. And what I found was that these clients didn't know what a conversion was. They didn't know what an impression was. They didn't know if they were even getting leads or where their leads were coming from or how many they got a month or how many users came to their website. This is all what wraps it all together. You have to know these things. You have to know, not only can you get traffic to your site and you get those leads, but if you just let those leads sit out there and you're not answering them and you don't have a sales team that's closing them, people want things fast. So if you have 3 days in between getting a lead and you're not answering it, like that's a problem for your company. And so that's why you as a business owner need to understand and need to know where all that's coming from. How many users do you have to get on your site to get that 5% conversion rate? Like all of that's important to have. And with Jeff and his team, they're monitoring and watching a lot of that for you and having those conversations. So
Make a quick point. If I see on a truck a hamburger, it looks good, and I happen to go to a store and buy a hamburger because I saw somebody else's hamburger, that's the part that you don't know about.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
Marketing dollars, we don't know, like for us, we don't understand this stuff that well, that's why we're sitting here. That's why we pay to have it done, but
Yeah.
there's also that perspective that, hey, just because you see something doesn't mean that didn't come in.
Yeah.
They just need to find you.
You could have, someone could have, I see this all the time, radio ads is a good point. So, T. Smith is running an ad for roofing, right? Well, in my mind, I hear that. I've never heard T. Smith in my life. I'm not going to remember that, but I'm going to remember roofing and shit, I got that leak I got to get fixed. So I'm going to go online and I'm going to search. Well, T. Smith didn't come up digitally, so guess what just happened? T. Smith just gave his competitor a lead, right? And so there's multiple things that trigger us for the services and what we're looking for. So no one can ever say, you can never drill down so far to say that this lead exactly came from my online marketing or this lead exactly came from there's always some other starting point or some trigger in someone's mind. But God made us all to where we're all ADHD because there was a point to where we had to have that fight or flight mode. But now with so much technology, that's happening to all of us. So we think about something, we make a search, and then if it doesn't happen immediately, we completely forget. So that's why retargeting ads are really great because then we're reminding them, oh yeah, I remember you wanted to do this, you were thinking about this. So advertising comes from all sorts of different ways, but ultimately, no matter where you're advertising and what you're putting out there, you want people to find you for your services. Your name is super important, but it's even more important all the people that don't know you already. And so that's what we can help with.